I heard 2024, but I thought they need a bike or something, because I have almost people.
Dusty right there?
Oh, God, I would never even,
They're first. I'm going to say a couple things, but they need to be ready.
I thought about going to county commission and police.
What is this? You ready? Yeah, we're ready. Okay, we'll call our meeting order and begin with the superintendent's report.
Well, thank you, Skip. It's great to see all of you here tonight, and I'd like to welcome everyone watching our live stream this evening. Everyone out on the live stream right now, we are having some internet issues. So if the internet fails to work correctly, we will record tonight's meeting and upload it immediately at the conclusion of the meeting. So we apologize if we do end up breaking out on the live stream, but hopefully it will hold up. Before I get started tonight, I really want to take a minute to wish everyone a happy, a peaceful, a healthy, and safe holiday season. I hope everybody gets the opportunity to slow down and really enjoy the season with family and friends. This is always one of my favorite Board of Education meetings, the December meeting, and I think a lot of the veteran board members would agree. We kick off the holiday season, and one of our favorite traditions is introducing choir director Dustin Morris and his talented students. And I want to start by saying thank you so much for coming tonight. We're looking forward to your performance. If you can just give us 1 minute, we'll all move into the crowd, and then you can take over. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. As Mr. O'Neill said, I'm Dusty Morris, and I'd also like to introduce our student teacher this semester, Brooke Linebaugh. And this is most of chamber singers, not the ones with COVID or the ones with driver's ed training. But we are pleased. Thank you so much for the invitation. We love coming out and singing, and we appreciate the kind words and the warm welcome. And we would love to sing the Christmas song. It's Mel Torme and Robert Wells. It's arranged by Russell Robinson. And I'll announce the other songs as we go. We have 3 for you. And this first one will be directed by Ms. Linebaugh.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire, Jack Frost nipping at your nose, Yuletide carols being sung by a choir, and folks dressed up like Eskimos. Everybody knows a turkey and some mistletoe help to make the season bright. Tiny tots with their eyes all aglow find it hard to sleep tonight. They know that Santa's on his way. He's loaded lots of toys and goodies on his sleigh. And every mother's child is gonna spy to see if reindeers really know how to fly. And so I'm offering this simple roasting on an open fire.
Now this next song is called Glow by a composer named Eric Whitaker. And the text is, softly falls the winter snow. And if we do it right, I think you'll hear the snow fall. Not a lot of that happening lately.
Softly falls the winter snow, whispers to the sleeping world below. Winter tide awaits, morning breaks and sets the earth aglow. In gentle tones of warmest light, proclaim the glory of our light. Sarah sings in a clear, clear voice, sings silver carol for the season fall. Radiant wings as the skies rejoice, send illuminate the morn. Softly falls the morning snow, whispers to the sleeping world below. Like the softly falling snow.
And last, our holiday tradition, Holly Jolly.
Holly jolly, holly, holly jolly, wow, holly jolly, holly, holly jolly, wow, holly jolly, holly, holly jolly, wow. Have a holly jolly Christmas, it's the best time of the year. I don't know if there'll be snow, but have a cup of cheer. Have a holly jolly Christmas, and when you walk down the street, say hello to friends you know and everyone you meet. Oh, the mistletoe hung where you can see. Somebody waits for you, kiss her once for me. Have a holly jolly Christmas, and in case you didn't hear, oh by golly, have a holly jolly Christmas. Christmas, Christmas.
get tired of me saying this, but
Oh.
as somebody that has not got the ability to sing, I hope you all realize that you really have a gift. And that's the gift to be able to make music with your voice. Not everybody's born with that gift. I wish I had it.
It's never too late for you.
Yeah. I don't mean to put you on the spot, but we really do care who you are. I'd like to have you all introduce yourselves and tell us what year you're in here at Vicksburg High School.
I'm Michaela Echeverria, and I'm in 12th grade.
And talk loud.
I'm Allie Spencer, and I'm in 11th grade.
I'm Brie Brock, and I'm in 12th grade.
Hello, I'm Natalie Marietti, and I'm a senior.
I'm AJ Werfel, and I'm a junior.
Hi, I'm Malik Johnson, and I am a senior.
I'm Lauren Lyle, and I'm a junior.
I'm Isabella Free, and I'm a senior. I'm Victoria Langdon, and I'm a junior.
I'm Madeline Berry, and I'm a sophomore.
I'm Adelia Zoller, I'm a junior.
I'm Jacob McGee.
I'm William Nelson, and I'm a junior.
I'm Tristan Kellogg, and I'm a senior.
I'm Tyler Richardson. I'm a senior.
I'm Cole Moran, and I'm a senior.
I'm Luke Tramstra, and I'm a junior.
Thank you all.
And for us, if I can just say, on behalf of the choirs and the Fine Arts Department, I've always felt Vicksburg is a great place to be involved in the arts. And I appreciate the support that we've had. You know, this is my 18th year in Vicksburg. And
Yankers.
I know. But the support that I've felt through that whole 18-year career here at Vicksburg, I'm very thankful for. I'm thankful for the board and the admin doing that and understanding the importance of the arts and emphasizing the arts and committing resources to the arts and showing up for the shows and the concerts and the musicals and stuff. So thank you all to our community and to our board and to our admin for supporting wonderful music making like this.
You have a choral concert coming up.
Oh.
Give us a shameless plug there.
Thank you very much. I'm happy to give a shameless plug. So we will have a combined middle school and high school holiday concert next Tuesday, so a week from tomorrow, December 19th, in this auditorium at 7 o'clock. No tickets required. General seating, walk in and come and see it. Now, that is different than in years past. We are not doing the combined band, choir, high school collage concert that we used to always do the Thursday before we go on break. That is not happening this year. So come and see the choirs, middle school and high school on the 19th. And I believe tomorrow there is a middle school band concert. And I believe Thursday is the high school band concert. Is that right? Yes. A lot of them are in band as well. So you'll just have to, now you have several nights of entertainment to look forward to instead of just one. So.
Live entertainment.
Live entertainment, yes. Please do come out and we'll put you in the holiday spirit. So, thank you very much. Thank you, everyone. Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. You too. And go ahead, Ms. Linebaugh, exit to the right, because that's where the food is.
Thanks, Dusty.
My pleasure. Thank you.
So, are we going to have School Board the musical?
Well, you get to follow that, Kevin.
Yeah, but you could write that.
No chance. All right, I'm going to continue on real quickly with my report, which really doesn't involve me. Another one of our favorite December traditions is introducing our new VCS teachers. So excited to welcome all our new teachers to Vicksburg Community Schools. We're so fortunate to have so much talent leading our classrooms and shaping the future for our students. With that, I'm going to turn this over to our principals, and we're going to start with new teacher introductions with Mr. Brush, Principal, Vicksburg High School.
Thank you very much. Ms. Amy, you want to come meet me at the microphone? I get to introduce you to Laura Heyman. She has been at Vicksburg High School since 2018. She worked in our ag department as a CTE aide, and now she is our agri-science teacher. So she graduated from Central Michigan. I know that'll make some of you extremely excited. Right there.
Fire up.
Yep, fire up chips, right? Her and her husband have 2 children, Bryn and Hudson. What do you like best about teaching at Vicksburg High School?
It's a very welcoming, inviting school. I've had the privilege of working here for 6 years now, and as I transition into a teacher, everybody's just welcoming, giving me advice, and encouraging me as I take this new job. And also the students are great. I love working with them and getting them out in the greenhouse planting plants.
Awesome, Mrs. Damon, thank you. Mrs. Lee. So Maureen went to Western Michigan University and then transplanted to Wisconsin. She taught in Madison for a number of years, and then she came back to Michigan. And what brought you back to Michigan?
As a native Michigander, I missed it a lot here. My kids...
The sunny side?
Yes. Except not so sunny. It's warmer here.
Yeah.
My family is still here. My mom is getting older, and so I came back to be around family, and my kids got big, and they were like, we want to go back to Michigan or just not be here, and I was like, cool, let's do that.
Awesome. What is your favorite thing about teaching at the high school?
I have 2 favorite things. So before I was a teacher, I was a horse trainer, and coming here in the morning, in the warm fall mornings, it reminds me of horse show days. Just the smell of being outside, plus there's horses right across the street, and the sunshine coming through my window in the morning. I love, love, love the sunrises. And I'm not lying, but your jovial, booming voice down, no, it's true, I swear to God. Every time I hear his voice, it makes me laugh coming down the hall because it is such a, like, I know, from far away, trust me. But I just love to hear your voice because I know the kids love talking to you, and having that sense of community is really, really huge for me, so.
Well, you'll love the last day of school for seniors. A bunch of them will ride in their horses that day.
Shut
so,
up.
Yeah, so it's really, really cool. Mrs. Mead, everyone. And Mr. Verdusco, he's back. He was here in 2005 in the suspension room. We've joked about this, but this really isn't a joke. Bob and I have a lot in common. I graduated from Grand Valley. He graduated from Yale. So, that's true. It is the Yale of the Midwest. So Bob teaches.
Same colors.
Yeah, that you call. Don't you call Yale the Grand Valley of the East?
Same colors.
Yeah. So Bob teaches geometry and algebra at the high school. He did go to Yale, graduated from Yale. He started at quarterback his junior year. What did you like best about playing college football?
We had a chance to be on ESPN TV. We also had a chance to play at the University of Hawaii. So, yeah.
That's awesome. So his wife, Megan, works for Discovery Education. They also have 2 children, and one of which just moved back home, so the whole family's going to be around for Christmas. What do you enjoy most about being at Vicksburg High School?
There's many things, but I think the culture, it's pretty easy to focus on educating our students and engaging with them without a lot of unnecessary distractions.
Yeah. Well, hey, thank you, Mr. Verdusco.
Well, thank you, Mr. Brush. I'm going to turn it over to Vicksburg Pathways High School, the principal, Rick Place.
Actually, Allison has to go first. She's got to teach the rest of these. So
Never mind. We're going to turn it over to Allison Digert, principal, Vicksburg Middle School.
Sorry.
You're all right.
I don't know why I'm apologizing.
So this is Michelle Pro. She comes to us from White Pigeon. She grew up in Michigan, but was originally from Iowa, so we weren't on speaking terms about a week ago when Michigan was playing, because her room was all decked out in Hawkeyes. But this is her 9th year of teaching. She started teaching preschool for a year, and then jumped to the middle grades, which is where she finds her teaching heart at. She also has a marketing degree and worked for Kellogg's down in Florida once she graduated with her undergrad. And she's also always very busy coaching volleyball too, so she's also a volleyball coach in her spare time. So, Michelle, what do you like best about being in Vicksburg?
I love the teamwork and like the camaraderie when you come to work. Everybody is working together to keep everybody successful, and it's awesome to work for a district like that.
Good. Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you.
Good luck.
All right, if I could have Mr. Michalczyk. This is Matthew Michalczyk. He comes to us, originally he taught in Galesburg and then left for a little while, and then he did a little stint at Zoetis for a couple of years as science. So he is a science, oh, and I'm sorry, I forgot to tell, Michelle teaches 7th grade English for us, I'm sorry. But Matthew teaches science and English, so he's got a couple of 8th grade English classes and 7th grade science classes for us. So something interesting about Matthew is he was born in Poland, and he went to secondary school in Grand Rapids, but now he currently lives in Portage. I don't know how to pronounce your hometown in Poland, though. How do you say that?
Szedać.
Szedać is where he is originally from in Poland. And he has enjoyed the energy of the students and their willingness to acclimate to a new teacher and being able to build those relationships with our parents and our students. So what do you like best about being in Vicksburg?
I think I'll sound like a broken record, but I think it's an extremely supportive community. The culture here is, it's really moving forward in like educating the whole child rather than just educating, the small niche of children that we have for, a majority part of the year. And so I really like the fact that we come together and we're all looking out for the best interests of all students. I like the saying all means all. And I like the fact that there's actions that show that. So I love the support, and I've really felt the support. We don't just say it, we show it. So that's what I love. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So Jen comes to us after teaching 29 years in Hartford. So this is her 30th year teaching. She grew up in St. Clair's Shores, Michigan, but has lived in Kalamazoo since attending Western Michigan University in the early 90s. She did her student teaching at Hartford as well, worked in adult and migrant ed, then elementary, and the last several years in the middle school. So she's also science and English certified, but she teaches our English, or she teaches our ELO, our extended learning opportunity for English students. So she helps out in that area. She has a lot of very interesting things to share, like really cool things. She came to us earlier, so she's like, I've got to show you this picture. What is it? And it's the Jonas Brothers. And he's up there wearing a jacket. I'm like, that's a cool jacket. Her daughter designed it. And so the Jonas Brothers wear some of her daughter's outfits. And she has a store in Kalamazoo that she recently opened, right?
Yeah, it's like her studio.
Yes.
It's her design studio.
So, yes, she gets vintage clothing and she redoes them and sells them. But yeah, so if you see the Jonas Brothers on tour, more than likely they're wearing her daughter's designs. She also has played the electric violin in a local rock band. And she has run an international marathon where she went from over the Ambassador Bridge into Canada, or started in Detroit, went into Canada over the Ambassador Bridge, and then back through the tunnel. So she's
my gosh.
Wow. So what do you like best about being in Vicksburg?
It's been a very welcome change. I feel rejuvenated to start here in Vicksburg. And I've been teaching a really long time, and the collaboration here, the support that you have here has just been amazing. And the kids are wonderful too. But teaching ELO, I have smaller class sizes, and I've really enjoyed building relationships with the kids and watching them grow. It's been a lot of fun. And Allison's wonderful too.
Thank you, Jen.
Thank you.
And she's also one of 4 Jennifers in our building. So
Oh, boy.
Jennifer, Jenny, Jenny.
Thank you, Allison. You ready? All right. reintroducing Rick Place, principal of Vicksburg Pathways High School.
So I will start, we have another teacher who couldn't be here tonight, Shelley Johnson. She is sort of a newly minted position, or one that we're working on, student success coordinator. So she handles sort of everything that doesn't fall on that academic branch. So a lot of the social emotional learning and counseling stuff and all that cool programming. She unfortunately couldn't be here tonight, but I wanted to let you know about her. You'll see her around the building, and she's an amazing person. But who I do have here tonight is Rob Nolan. He is a science teacher for us at Pathways. Spoiler alert, he is British, so I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but most people find it endearing. He's taught for quite a while over in London and in Germany before, and was an ambulance driver at some point.
Yeah, I wasn't very good.
He says he's bad, and a lot of people didn't make it, so luckily teaching is probably a better call for him. But interestingly enough, so Rob worked for us, it was 3 or 4 months, several years ago prior to COVID. At that point, all of our teachers at Pathways were contracted in, and he and his wife needed insurance, and it didn't work. So he had to leave us. He went to Comstock and taught, but within the last, about a year ago, thanks to Kevin and Steve and a lot of other people, our teachers actually became district employees. And so through a very odd interaction, something went wrong with the Appletrack system. Rob applied for a different job. I don't even think it was within Vicksburg, and it went to me. And so I reached out and said, hey, great to hear from you. And he's like, yeah, I didn't apply. And so got to talking, and it just worked out. It was meant to be. So Rob has been with us since the beginning of the year, and he's a great fit to our staff. Put you on the spot, Rob, but what is your favorite thing so far about being back at Pathways?
Yeah, unlike Americans, British people get very intimidated by microphones and having to talk, so I'm a little bit nervous. Yeah, I've seen a lot in all my years of teaching. There's some tough stuff in London and some privileged stuff in Germany, but there's something, and I sensed it 5 years ago on that top floor of the admin building, there's something special going on. It's a great team of people. I've never felt more part of something. I actually enjoy going to work, and after 30 years of teaching, I know how lucky I am. And if anyone asks me, I bore them with how grateful I am to be there. So, yeah, there's something special goes on up there, and I even like most of the kids.
Yeah?
No, I've got it most.
So, Rob Nolan, everyone.
Welcome.
Well, thank you, Rick. We're going to turn it over to our elementary principals now, and I'm going to start with Sunset Lake Principal Amy McCaw.
New necessarily to Sunset because she's been with us for a while. She has a 4th grade son and a 1st grade daughter at Sunset Lake. And last year she served as our building substitute teacher and did a phenomenal job. She was in all sorts of different classrooms. And she went on to go back because her first degree, I should have started with that, was in accounting. And so she knew she had a pull for kids, and she knew she had a pull for service and doing more in the service area of family and children. So she went back and got her certification through University of Michigan through an alternate certification, which we're really happy to hear. And now she is working on her master's at Western Michigan. And she is getting her master's in special education, which is also wonderful to hear, with learning disability. And so let's see, what is the other thing? I wanted to talk about that and your children, your son, your husband Gregory. So you've been a long time.
My son Gregory too.
And your son Gregory.
Yes,
that's right. That's right. You have 3. 2 are at Sunset. Yes. We'll get to the other one soon. But what is your favorite thing here at Vicksburg?
My favorite thing is the sense of community and really getting to know all the kids and build relationships. It's been great.
Yeah. So, all right. Thank you so much, Amanda. Let's stick with the A's. Allison. All right. Allison Bressy. You might recognize the last name or have it sound familiar. Jugrassi. Allison and her husband Matt have 2 children and live here in Vicksburg. And Allison, her background is quite a bit different. And so Allison's role is in all 3 elementaries. She is at Toby Elementary, she is at Indian Lake Elementary, and she is at Sunset Lake Elementary. And she is our behavior specialist. And so we're so grateful for her because the background for her, she has her bachelor's in psychology and her master's in social work. She worked for 14 plus years with students of trauma, different families, working in the foster care service. So her lens that she brings to our 3 elementaries is phenomenal. And I know I can speak for Sarah and Mike that she's just been doing fabulous work for us. And so her daughter Madison is at Sunset Lake, and her other daughter will be coming soon.
Next year.
Next year. And so she's just been a great joy for all 3 of our buildings. And so Allison, would you like to share what's kind of been one of your favorite things about the district?
Yeah, so it's fun. I mean, my husband grew up in Vicksburg. Now he teaches in the middle school. Our daughter going, at Sunset. It's just a really great community to be a part of. And with me being new to the school system, with working in foster care and adoption and child welfare, the team approach has been so appreciated as I've just jumped right in and learned what I'm doing while rolling with the punches. But it's just been a really supportive group as I've just gotten acclimated to all the great kids and teachers I'm partnering with.
We did a thing about choosing our word. And do you want to share what your word was for the year?
Immerse.
And she has
immersed. Yes, just jump in. That's the best way to learn.
Jumped in, all 3. A lot of learning going on.
Yes.
So Allison has been great. So thank you, Allison. Michelle? All right, Michelle Turzin. Michelle Turzin is a 5th grade teacher for us at Sunset Lake Elementary, and she is a GVSU grad. Mr. Brush is going to be very excited about that. And she's K-8. She had a math endorsement. We're really glad that we're able to grab somebody with that background as well, and kind of thinking that in that line of work with 5th graders, because 5th grade math, I don't know, but it's not what it used to be. Michelle spent 6 years in Arizona, and she was a teacher in Arizona, and then she decided she needed to get back to Michigan. And she was 3 years at Constantine, and she actually worked with Mrs. Dygert. And so I was really happy when Allison kind of recommended, hey, I've got somebody you could interview. And so Michelle came in, and she was hired, and the team, it was unanimous. We just felt the connection. Her husband Taylor and her 4-year-old daughter Lena and baby Roland, who's 8 months now, keeps Michelle very busy. But Michelle, would you like to share one of your favorite?
Yeah, I just really enjoy my team, my 5th grade team. They're just amazing. And what I really love about the district is having a coach. That's something very new to me, but I greatly appreciate that. And having that support, an extra person to help, being new to a district, it's every time I talk about Vicksburg, it's always like, oh, I have a coach. And so just very thankful that you guys give that to us as new teachers.
Thanks, Michelle. Thank you. We have Tristan Lee. He is our 4th grade teacher at Sunset Lake, and he is coming as a brand new teacher this year. He comes from Western Michigan University, go Broncos, and he actually he had a year and a half in the secondary track, looking at math and Spanish. But then he started exploring into the elementary, and as his words were, he knew it was where he needed to be, and he was never going to look back. So elementary is where his heart's at. And so he grew up in Buchanan. He has a couple sisters, a couple brothers, okay? And I'm going to let him speak a little bit about what his favorite. He had such nice things to say, but you get to go ahead and share a little bit.
Yeah, I just really loved all the smiling faces that I came. I was very welcomed during teacher orientation. Just everyone was so welcoming. And I just have a lot of marigolds, if you know what that is. Not only my team is great, they're really supportive. They're always asking what they can do to help. And they're like, hey, if you need anything on the weekend, anytime, just text us. And I thought that was really awesome. And then also I have other people like Kyle Baker, which is my coach, and she's just such a lovely person. She's just always willing to help. And she's there. She's really passionate for helping other teachers. And just all together, just being in Sunset, having a lot of supportive people, especially I know being a new teacher, it can be really hard, especially without much support, but having so many supportive people like Mrs. McCaw and Michelle right here, and just everyone being so supportive and helping me grow and learn as I start off my career is just so amazing to me.
Thank you. Thank you, Tristan.
And I think it's Tristan's birthday today, not to embarrass you. Happy birthday, Tristan. Sorry, man. Had to do it. I dropped that one, didn't I? All right. I'm going to introduce Toby Elementary's principal, Mike Barwigan.
Good evening, everybody. This is Melissa Wilcox. She's a new third grade teacher out at Toby Elementary. Tried to hire her 3 times. Okay, about 5-6 years ago, I tried to hire you for playground duty.
Yeah.
And then I offered you a
3
couple
years
other
ago.
jobs, right?
Oh, yeah, beginning of the year.
She's a Toby parent, so she has 3 students right now, Catherine in 8th, Wyatt in 5th, and Anna in 1st. Then she was hired as a paraprofessional.
Yeah.
And then you resigned that job like a day later.
Because I was watching the website like a hawk.
Right. And we hired her as a third grade teacher. So happy to have her. She's done a wonderful job coming in with a kind of a tough class this year, but what do you like about being at Toby in Vicksburg?
Well, it sounds like we're all doing really well with our leadership, but I believe our leadership is unmatched. So I love being at Toby. I love being at Toby. When you walk in, your coworkers are always checking on you. I was in this past weekend, they were checking on me. And then following the Toby way, something special about Toby, and I'm really happy to be a part of that. And the fact that my own children are here, I get to work with people who I want my children to have. And so that makes me feel really happy. I'm really happy to be here.
So quick story. Just before this, she was telling me that her son, who's in 5th grade, she said that she's going to have an observation. Mr. B's coming in to watch. And her son said, are you nervous? And she was telling me this beforehand, so I can't wait till tomorrow to get there, see him in the morning and say, oh, man, your mom's getting it
Your
today,
mom's
man. Get them all worried. So, but Melissa Wilcox. So Emily Duncan is our new 5th grade teacher out at Toby for a new section out at Toby. She grew up in Paw Paw, or kind of all over the place, but Paw Paw is majority. And she graduated from Western Michigan University. She did a pre-internship out at Toby in kindergarten, so I hired her in 5th grade. Right? Makes sense.
Yeah.
So we're, and she's doing a great job. A couple stories about Emily. One, well, first, you're in the band at Western, right?
Yes,
So you
5
love the
years.
band, 5 years in the band. So has that band background, and you were also president of your sorority. So I figured if she can handle president of sorority, she can handle 5th graders, right? So, but earlier this year, she was out in front of the school, and this great big gentleman was with her, older gentleman, and she introduced me, and it was her father. And her father had a vest on, a Marine vest, and it had badges of all the places that he's served in duty. And so we had a great conversation, and he doesn't know this, but, well, he does now because he's been there for Veterans Day, but he's now our new Veterans Day speaker at our assembly. So he came in and gave a wonderful presentation at Veterans Day, and just a touching moment when I asked him a few questions, and one of the questions was, what did it feel like when you were coming home? And he said, I got to see my daughter. And that was, and you were in tears, and yeah. So it was a great moment on Veterans Day at Toby. One more quick story. This morning, or last Friday, we had an assembly, and at the end of the assembly, the teachers had to choose between the Bears and the Lions, right? Because as most of you know, I'm an avid Bears fan. So I'm over here on the Bears, and Melito's over here on the Bears. Everybody else is over on the Lions. Here comes Emily, right over to the Bears. Doesn't know anything about football, but she knew where the boss was, right? so she said that later. She was like, oh, I'm choosing Bears because I'm a first-year teacher, right? Emily Duncan. wait, sorry. What do you like best about it?
I think, as everyone said, the community and the family that's at Toby, it really helped me as a first-year teacher kind of grow into the spot and grow as a teacher. And having my pre-internship there, I kind of got a sneak peek of what it was like. And I remember after my first week, I said to myself and my mom that this was the kind of school that I would love to work at someday. And little did I know I'd hit the jackpot and I would get that school to work at. So, yeah, I've loved every second of it.
Awesome. Emily Duncan.
Well, thank you, Mr. B. And last but not least, Principal of Indian Lake Elementary, Sarah Basalia.
Hi, everybody. I love being able to introduce our new teachers. I feel like we're starting to build relationships, and then we just get to share them with you, so it's so fun. This is Josh Cardosa. He is our new PE teacher this year. We get to have him just to ourselves at Indian Lake, and we're so thrilled about that. He is a VCS alumni. His experience at Indian Lake began in high school, though, when he taught with Melissa Jamerson through an EFE program. While he was at Indian Lake, he became familiar with the elementary culture within Vicksburg, and then after graduating, he went to WMU and earned his Bachelor's of Science in Physical Education. He enjoys the Vicksburg community. You can see Vicksburg athletics here, as well as the staff and students throughout the district. He shared that he has always had positive educators who pushed him, which is why he chose education as his career. He enjoys physical activity, working with children, as well as serving as an assistant coach in the district for varsity boys soccer and varsity girls basketball. So he's itching to get to the game tonight. Josh, would you like to share any of your favorite things about Vicksburg?
Yeah, just being an alumni, getting to work with teachers that I had in the community, and just seeing the other side of, oh, that's why you pushed me, or oh, that's why you joked with me about those things, or just different things like that. Most importantly, it's the kids. Like, I love these students, and I just want them to know that I'm going to give them as much as my teachers gave me, and that just meant so much to me growing up. I was very grateful for the opportunity to come to Vicksburg schools. Originally, I went to Mendon, and then I transferred to Vicksburg my freshman year, which is a very awkward time, and meeting Principal O'Neill at the time, I mean, just welcomed me, made me feel like I had a home the very first day that I arrived. So yeah, just knowing that I'm so lucky to teach in a district that means so much to me, because it gave so much to me, and I want to give that opportunity to the kids that I teach every day.
Josh Curtis.
Josh.
Yeah, get out of
There you
here.
go.
And then we have Kat Fry. Come on down. So, Kat Fry came to Indian Lake first as a parent, and she got to know the Indian Lake staff, and she found them to be amazing and wonderful, and those are her words, not mine, but I love them and agree. Through her experience as a parent, she knew that Indian Lake was the place that she wanted to be someday. I first met Kat when she was finishing her teaching degree at Western, and it was my first year as being principal. We partnered with the class that she was in to do some after-school tutoring for kids. So I had my eyes on Kat for a while. I knew she was going to be great. She enjoys the community feel at Indian Lake and finds everyone to be very welcoming. And she shared that the staff is always checking in to see how I'm doing, asking if I need anything, and providing support when I do need assistance. Kat has a unique college experience. Her first bachelor's degree was Human Relations from the University of Iowa. She did earn a second bachelor's degree in General and Special Education from WMU, and has her master's in Special Education from Xavier University. So she was ready to go. Kat stated that her kids helped prepare her for her current role and fueled her passion to help all children. Both of her children were speech delayed, so she was able to see firsthand how important education and services are for students that need extra support. She also worked as a paraprofessional for a little bit in both general ed and special ed settings. She absolutely loves Vicksburg and plans to be here throughout her entire career as an educator, and I wanted that on record.
It's recorded.
It's recorded, yeah.
So, Kat, is there anything you'd like to share about what you are loving about Vicksburg?
That pretty much sums it up. I absolutely love Vicksburg. It has been amazing for my family. My husband grew up in Vicksburg, and I'm just so thankful that I landed in the place that I wanted to be. So I'm thankful to you all and the support that is offered, and our amazing principal, because she is honestly the best. And I couldn't ask for someone better.
We have a lot of the best here
No,
tonight.
you really are. So I am so thankful, and thank you all for this opportunity.
Thank you.
So, Kat Frey.
I just want to tell you how nice it is to meet all of you. I look forward to seeing you around a long time. You bring fresh energy, and that's always a great thing. I think you've joined probably one of the best education families there is anywhere in Michigan. I'm a little biased, but I think all of us up here at the table would agree with that statement too. So I'm glad you made that choice. I'm glad you're with us. And it was great for all of us to have a chance to meet you. There's a couple other things I heard that I want to talk to you individually about that piqued my interest, but we'll do that when we see you at another time. So I just want to welcome you. Kevin, you got it?
Yeah, we're going to take just a quick break. So anybody that wants to leave at this time, you may. So feel free. Thanks for coming tonight. Really appreciate it. And thanks for all you do. Happy holidays, all.
Yes.
I know, I can't leave with the finance report.
Legislatively, as you know, the legislature adjourned for the rest of the calendar year. In your packet, I did include the School Equity Caucus. It does contain a recap of some relevant legislation that we did talk about at past board meetings, and that legislation that will soon be coming into effect. So if you get a chance to look through that, I highly recommend that. Dusty stole my thunder with important dates. But just a reminder, we are in the concert season. The middle school holiday band concert is tomorrow night at 7. The high school holiday band concert's Thursday at 7. And then next week, the VMS and VHS holiday choir concert at 7 p.m. on Tuesday, December 19th. And just a reminder to everyone in our community, our holiday break officially begins on Monday, December 25th. And then school will resume on Monday, January 8th. And that is my report.
Thanks, Kevin. Okay, we'll go on to reports and public inquiry, and we'll start with the budget and finance report. Steve?
Okay, just two items to go over fairly quickly this evening. Not a lot to report on. However, included in your packet is the monthly general fund budget progress report, and this includes activity through the end of November. All right, and just taking a quick look at that. Total revenue year-to-date stood at just over $8.5 million, or about 23% of the initially projected budget. Couple comments there. You might notice that we're a fair amount ahead on local revenue as well as other revenue. And the local revenue is a combination of increased local property taxes, which is really just a reflection of increased taxable values. And those taxes don't increase our overall budget. They are part of our foundation allowance. So those are the first dollars that come in. Then the state deducts that money from what they pay for the foundation allowance. So, but we do see increasing taxable values, and so you do see that reflected. And then also, investment income is up significantly from where we were at this time last year as well. And that's just a reflection of what interest rates have done over the last year or so. All right. On the expenditure side, total instructional expenditures year to date were just over $5.4 million. Support services totaled $4,154,000. And then you can see athletics, year-to-date came in at $351,000, and community services at $192,000. So on a year-to-date basis, expenditures are at just under $10.1 million. All right? Second page of that report recaps expenditures by object. And you can see that, again, year-to-date salaries and benefits, $7.7 million, about 26% of our projected total for the year. And then there's a breakdown there for the non-compensation related items, including purchase services, supplies, capital outlay, and other. Just one more quick comment. You'll notice that both revenues and expenditures are tracking ahead of where we were at this time last year. When you look at the percentages, we're also a little bit ahead on the expenditure side. But I mentioned this last month, and I'll just highlight it again. Last year's figures included, about $1.6 million of one-time revenue through the state of Michigan for MIPSers. That was an additional allocation to reduce the unfunded liability. And so that is reflected in the year-end numbers, but those expenditures were not posted until much later in the year. So it changes the math a little bit, but when I exclude those one-time dollars last year that were really just a pass-through in both revenue and expenditure, when I do that, the percentages are much closer. So, at this point, we know there will be a budget amendment, but things are tracking essentially the way we would expect at this point. All right? Questions?
When is our next state aid payment? Because we're, here we are finishing a semester, and we still have spent more than we have coming in from the state.
Yeah, so state aid payments, our next one is in 9 days on December 20th. So, state aid follows the state's fiscal calendar. So the state's fiscal year runs from October through September, and we received our first installment of state aid in October. And so November is just the second of 11 installments. So we will see that, typically kind of the lowest point from a cash flow standpoint would be sometime in the, January timeframe, and then, depending on the payroll calendar and that type of thing. But we do expect to see, we know that we've spent more than we've brought in at this point, which is just a reminder of the importance of having, adequate reserves and that type of thing. All right. Does that answer your question,
Yes.
Dave? Okay.
Thank you.
Other questions? All right. If not, then I'll switch focus to the investment update. This just shows all the investments that the district has, not cash accounts, but investment accounts. And this includes data as of November 30th. This should look fairly familiar. The investments are broken down between the funds, where the school district's funds, and how those are invested. So the 2022 Building and Site Fund, that started off significantly higher, but as we have continued to spend those proceeds down, you see that list get shorter and shorter, and the number come down. So at the end of November, we still have, at market value, $7.12 million in treasury notes, and then there's about $918,000 of cash management funds. Debt retirement, I think I mentioned this last month. We did purchase an investment with our excess debt service funds, so we can maximize our investment earnings between now and the next principal and interest payment, which occurs towards the end of April. The official date is May 1st, but all those wire transfers go out really around the third to fourth week in April. And so we're just trying to maximize our investment income there. We have just over $1.75 million investment for 150 days at a rate of 5.62%. So that'll generate a little better than $40,000 in that time frame. All right, and then finally, the general fund at the end of November had just over $3.4 million invested. That investment goes up and down throughout the month depending on our cash flow needs. And currently, as of today, it's around $4.2 million. So again, we're trying to just maximize our investments as much as we can. With rates currently, even liquid rates at 5.3 to 5.4%, that's really, really good. And, obviously we're anxious about where rates go from here. A lot of speculation out there. Increasingly, it sort of looks like we may be at sort of the top of the rate cycle. And, when you look at the market, they've sort of assumed at this point that rates are not going to continue to rise. Now, there is a Fed meeting on Wednesday, so we'll see. But the market is priced in almost 100% chance that they're going to hold rates steady. Then as you look into next year, there is more increasing speculation that rates will start to come down slowly. All right. So, any questions on that? All right. If not, then that'll conclude my report.
Thanks, Steve.
Thank you.
Okay, our Pathways Annual Report. Rick?
Thank you, Skip. Obviously, I know all of you up here. I don't know everybody out here. My name is Rick Place. I am the principal of Vicksburg Pathways. We're the alternative high school in the district. This will not be a normal report. We're not a normal school, but it won't be as long as Mike Barwigan's. So, or have as many office clips as Adams. So we'll, or be as boring as Steve's. There, now I'm done.
I knew it was coming.
Just wanted to, yeah, there are a lot of shots fired.
Yeah.
Give you a little report on sort of who we are, where we've come from, and where we're headed. So for those of you on the board who haven't been here as long, we started as the WAY program, which is how a lot of, I still get calls for the WAY program, back in 2012. The WAY program was an organization that we partnered with that provided our curriculum and also the format of the school. It was much different at that point. It was almost entirely virtual. There were online mentors who checked in with students. But it was a very different model in 2012 when we started. I came on board in 2014, and at that point, Steve Freiling and I sort of were looking at it as far as what's effective, what's not, and we decided to start shifting away from that model. And so in 2016, we became Vicksburg Pathways. The focus there was to shift from, even though we're a virtual school, we're considered 100% virtual as far as the state's concerned, to shift more towards on-site learning, on-site supports for students. So we operate, we were in one small little room of VAB when we started in 2012. We take over about half the upstairs at this point. We have 4 large learning labs where students come in and receive help from certified teachers and staff. So all of their content lives online, all of their instruction lives online, and then those teachers are helping them when they come in, and they come in to take all their tests and those sorts of things. So we've really changed over the years our focus while still keeping that flexibility and that virtual aspect to it. So, so currently how we operate that is similar to that model. We've obviously made adjustments over the years. At this point we have, along with myself, we have 5 content area teachers. We have a full-time paraprofessional, the student success coordinator who I mentioned before, Shelley, who couldn't be here tonight, as well as Shannon Hillard, our admin assistant. So we've got the most bodies up there we've ever had, and it's made a huge difference. What it allowed us to do is, rather than sort of triage where we could go, we are actually now able to start planning and implementing some things that we wanted to see happen. So we've remained flexible, we've remained self-paced and individualized. Our model is such that we can enroll students up through the age of 20. So we don't hold students to a 4-year cohort on the long end or on the short end. So we have students that will often graduate early. Hopefully you see our bell ringings online. We're pretty proud of those. We try to celebrate each student. But so we allow them to, the minute they finish all of their Michigan Merit Curriculum requirements, they're a graduate. And then we celebrate graduations twice a year. What that's allowed us to do is quite often, I'll talk with Adam if a student moves into the district and maybe they're behind in credits. Sometimes there's that barrier where they don't have the time to get caught back up in a traditional setting. And quite often Pathways can be that assistance to either get caught back up and then they may transfer to Vicksburg High School or caught back up and finish with Pathways. So Dave and I were talking beforehand about sort of the graduation rate or graduates over the years that I included in your packet. It's hard to measure a lot of the things we do. I was explaining that whenever those, the school grades report cards, come out, we always look terrible. It doesn't even bother me because we know that's not how we can be measured. It's really hard for us to measure a cohort, right? A freshman through 12th grade cohort coming through, because quite often we're getting more true freshmen, but quite often I'll get a sophomore coming in who may be ahead in credits, maybe behind in credits, maybe right on pace. And they may not be with us until the end. So all of those numbers are constantly moving. And so what we do measure is sort of the effectiveness of what we do. And so, in terms of our graduation rate, we look more at how many of our students that come into us are we able to get through to a diploma, be it in 4 years or 6 or whatever it takes. So our focus is always on the enrollment piece of getting students in, and then individualizing that plan for them to truly individualize it for what their needs are. I was, again, explaining to Dr. Schremer that, I currently have a student who came to me who was homeschooled for the first 17 and a half years of their life, wanted a high school diploma, plans to go on into the military. They have no credits as far as the state of Michigan is concerned. And so here I have an almost 18-year-old who has 0 credits. Truly at that point, our discussion was not, is this possible? Because it's simply not. There's no time. So we pivot and we said, what's best for this student? We're cramming whatever knowledge we can in the 2 years we have them. We're also helping them prepare for the ASVAB test, which is what the military uses, sort of that aptitude test. And so, ironically, this is a student who would look like on our statistics is not successful because he's not going to leave with a diploma. But we have him set up for success and a plan moving forward. And so it's a lot of those kind of situations where we just have to look at the individual student and say, what can we do? How do we manipulate this so that it's what's best for the student? So that's sort of who we are at this point. We are 3 graduates away from our 250th graduate. We're pretty excited about that. We're making bets in the back room about which student it's going to be. But I've already warned Jen, our custodian at VAB, because I bought.
Don't bet on campus.
No, it's not on campus, Stephen. It's at the bar after. But I bought like a half dozen of those compressed air confetti cannons, and I warned Jen, our custodian, that it's coming. She signed off, but we're going to make a big deal out of our 250th graduate. So it's coming up very soon. We'll celebrate that at our February graduation ceremony. Where we're heading is where I get really excited. We've got the virtual education piece down. We can educate a kid with 0 credits all the way through and get them a high school diploma all online. What we've always struggled with, partly because we didn't have the workforce to really handle it, is how do we create more collaboration and more school spirit, school community, because it's such an individualized program. If you come into our labs upstairs, there might be 60 kids on site at one time, but it's like a college library in there. It's quiet. They all have headphones on. They're all doing their own thing. And so it's really hard to get that student body aspect together. And so we're working on several different things. Kevin and Rob are working on writing curriculum proposals to start adding some hands-on science labs, so that even though they may not be in the same place in that class, we can say on this day at this time, that's how science should be done. We can do it online, but it's so much more about hands-on experience. Shelley and Alex Poffenberger, our English teacher, are working on a leadership class. We partner with, it's called MAYO, it's the Michigan Alternative Educators Association, and we partner with them a lot in some leadership aspects. They go to the Capitol and speak to lawmakers, and so we partner with them. What grew out of that is the realization that we have leaders in our school. We have identified them, but they don't have that role, and so we were forming a leadership class to bring those kids together, so they can tell us how we should serve those students and build that community. We want it to start from the student side. So that is something that's coming up very quickly. We're starting, I've already tricked one of the board members into it, but we're starting a Pathways pickup program. We always start by saying, what's the biggest barrier to success when we look at our school? And often, most of the time, the thing we hear the most is transportation, because I have students, usually about half of our students are from within Vicksburg, and the other half are from as far away as, I've had kids from like Martin driving down. Northeast side, Galesburg, all over the place. So it's really, we tell them, as long as you can get here, but often hardships fall or rides fall through, and so they're not able to make that time. So we've developed a program where once a week on a Monday, we will use a school van. Kids will sign up till Sunday night. You know, I need a ride, here's the form they fill out. We'll put together a route Monday morning, and then we will pick them up wherever they live, regardless of distance, no cost to them. We'll just head out in a school van and pick them up. So we're working with Rotarians and a bunch of other groups to find volunteer drivers to drive our school bus, and we're pretty excited about it. We've been letting kids know it's coming, and parents are calling going, do you have a date, do you have a date? So we know we're on track with that one. So that should be coming before second semester, at this point probably after Christmas break, but we're very close to having that going. We just had a social emotional learning training with Angela Blood, and it was very refreshing for my staff, I think, because when we sit in, no offense, Gail, but when we sit in like a DCIT, our continuous improvement plan, we look at a lot of data, and quite often our data does not look good. Our stories are good and our work is effective, but it doesn't always look good on paper. We get into social emotional learning with Angela Blood, and she said, you know, she called the staff rock stars multiple times, because that's how our school is built. We start with that. We recognize with our population we need to start with the relationship before we can even get to the education. They need to know us and trust us, and so that was really refreshing to hear that from an expert saying, you guys are on the right path, and I think that fed our staff quite a bit. And then looking to the future, the other piece I really want to get going is a mentorship program. Working with Kathy Forsyth, she is obviously a true champion for all things Vicksburg and education, but she's now a part of Rotary, having retired from Vicksburg schools, and she and I have talked a lot about starting a program that is similar to Strive, but is not Strive. Strive does a great job of mentoring those kids who academically may be at the bottom or at risk of not graduating, and helping them with their work, stay accountable, you know, bring those grades up. My staff does that part phenomenally. What I want to see is a program that provides a consistent, caring adult for the students that may not even talk about academics at all. Just a shoulder to lean on, and a relationship that's a healthy, positive one. So that is our big rock that we're working towards right now. So a lot of fun things to come. It's hard to imagine we're at 250 graduates. I was looking at the list the other day, and I've been here for all but 13 of them, and that blew my mind when I look back. I also had a little PTSD when I started reading some of the names, but that's bound to happen. So we've come a long way, and if you see a Vicksburg Pathways teacher, pat them on the back. They deal with some things that, you know, teaching's hard across the board, but they deal with some things that above and beyond some issues and delving into students' lives. And I know it takes a toll. It takes a toll on me, so I know it takes a toll on them. So they are bought in. You heard Rob say it. There's something different up there. The team we have is phenomenal, and if you see them, like I said, pat them on the back, because they are Vicksburg Pathways. They're what make it run. So questions for me?
When's graduation in February?
February 7th, 6 p.m. We're not sure of the exact location. It depends on what's available, but it'll probably be here in some room here at the high school. But we'll get that out to you. Get it on the calendar, February 7th.
What percentage of your students are out of district?
It's usually hovers around 50%. So, you know, we don't have any delineation of how far away. Basically, like I said, as long as they recognize the requirement of coming into lab is required. And so they need to know that you have to come down, you know, a minimum amount of hours each week. Generally speaking, it's about half. And I know that, you know, when the WAY program started, that was a concern across the board of, oh no, all these kids are gonna leave here and go here because it's easier. First of all, I tell them it's not easier. It's still chemistry and physics, and it's just a different way of getting it. And we haven't seen that, and I think that's been a good thing, so.
Is there a wait list, or are you having to turn students away, or?
It is a blessing to say our program is at a point and known in the area to a point where we get a lot of recommendations from school counselors from other districts that send students to us. I have had to say no, but only not because of size or capacity, but I interview every student and their family before. They fill out an application. They come to us, I interview them, and I've had to say no, just too many red flags in the interview of saying, this is probably not a fit for you, and I don't want to waste your time and my staff's time trying to figure it out. And so right off the bat said, this is probably not a great fit. We open our enrollment twice a year, so before the first state count, and we close it then, and then leading up to second semester, we open it a second time. So we have a waiting list, but that's just waiting for that to happen. So at this point, talking to Shannon today, we have 24 new student interviews scheduled for January, leading up to second semester starting. So they're coming. Yeah, great question. What else?
I think all of us on the board have had the pleasure to come to a graduation for Pathways. And they're a moving experience. And these are not kids that are lost. They're just kids that kind of, in a lot of cases, march to a different drummer. But, some of them just stick in my mind. A gal that had 2 young kids and worked and still was able to complete the program. So it's a wonderful thing.
Yep.
And really, I always walk out of those graduations feeling a lot better than I did when I walked in.
Absolutely. 2 of my favorite days of the year are those graduations. And you're right, the thing that makes me the proudest is handing a diploma to a kid who has a kid. Because I have 2 young kids. That's hard, just living. And they've worked way harder than any of our other students to get to that point. And so we occasionally do have students who have kids, and we say, bring them in. I have no shortage of staff who are willing to drop what they're doing to hold your baby while you do school. So yeah, that's just a piece of that individualization and that customization for them. So yeah.
Well, we're proud of the work you do.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
You meaning all of you.
I assume you just meant me, Skip. Yeah. Any other questions I can answer for you?
Do you have a maximum amount of students that you can take? I mean, have you determined that level yet?
Well, this is my shameless time where I say, as long as Kevin builds us a new building, you knew it was coming at some point. We're getting more and more creative with our space because, all jokes aside, we're sort of bumping into, we don't have a cap, we don't have a maximum. Our system is such that it can expand and contract. So if we end up with that many more, we'll have to look at staffing and make sure we're staffed appropriately. The issue we've run into as of late, the last year or so, as we've grown, is we on average have about 120 to 130 students. And when they're coming in like 30 at a time, it's fine. There are Thursdays, it's our busiest day because it's our last day with students, so they'll go, oh crap, I haven't gotten my hours in yet. So Thursday is really busy. We may have 90 plus kids in a day come in, and we just run out of seats. And so we're getting creative, and that's why the transportation will happen on Monday, trying to drag things to days that aren't Thursday. But yeah, it's mostly just space at this point is our biggest restriction. But other than that, licenses with our online content can increase, our staff can increase, we can accommodate it. So.
Yeah, and as Rick was saying too, this program is a 4-day-a-week program,
Yeah.
so we do have Friday out there.
Yeah. Yeah, and Rob left already, right?
My
we can say,
shameless
yeah,
plug.
That's shameless plug.
My shameless plug
Yeah.
about Fridays.
And we've talked about looking at Friday as either another day in lab, but we've actually talked about trying to use that as a time where we are open with staff for those extra things, the hands-on science labs, art classes. We're doing a lot with EFA right now, and we have a movement class, yoga class. We're doing jewelry making, those hands-on pieces, trying to make Friday maybe that day where we can do those things. But I got to convince the staff that loves working 4 days that we're going to go to a 5-day work week. So hopefully they're not watching online.
Do you have any barriers, though, with being on the 3rd floor? Have you had to?
We have not, no, I mean, yes, it's exhausting to get up there while carrying things, but student-wise, no. We've made accommodation for students if we do have any physical needs.
Okay.
Generally, if it's a short-term physical need, we had a student who just blew out his ACL and had surgery, and the beauty of it is he can work remotely
Right.
while he's healing and do Google Meets with teachers and those types of things. We've never run into any ADA issue. Obviously, you know, long story short, the building is grandfathered in, and that's why we don't have those things. But we've always been able to accommodate. We'll do conferences off-site if a parent can't make it up there, or those types of things. So we make it work, however. We take it to them if we need to. Yeah. What else?
Thanks, Rick.
You got it. Thank
Thanks,
you.
Rick.
We're at the point for audience, and we have, Christine Babcock said maybe.
I'm good.
You're good? Okay, all right. And it doesn't look like we had anybody else that wishes to address the board on a non-agenda item. Okay, we'll go on to board action required. First item we have before us is approval of November 13th, 2023 regular board meeting minutes.
So moved.
Moved by Carol.
I'll support.
Supported by Stephanie. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Approval of general fund invoices totaling $593,795.34.
So moved.
Moved by Tina.
Support.
Supported by Dave. Discussion? Stephanie?
Yes.
Dan?
Yes.
Dave?
Yes.
Ron?
Yes.
Tina?
Yes.
Carol?
Yes.
And yes, motion carries. Approval of purchase card disbursements for October 2023 totaling $111,947.46.
So moved.
Moved by Carol,
Support.
supported by Dan. Discussion? Stephanie?
Yes.
Dan?
Yes.
Dave?
Yes.
Ron?
Yes.
Tina?
Yes.
Carol?
Yes.
And yes, motion carries. Approval to accept student enrollments through Section 105C of the Public Act 94 for second semester of the 23-24 school year.
So moved.
Moved by, was it Tina?
Yeah.
Yep.
Support.
Supported by Dave. Discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item E, second reading approval for the following policies. We'll take policies 1 through 4 together with the board's permission.
So moved.
Moved by Carol, supported by Tina. Discussion? Stephanie?
Yes.
Dan?
Yes.
Dave?
Yes.
Ron?
Yes.
Tina?
Yes.
Carol?
Yes.
And yes, motion carries. And on that, we'll stand adjourned. Everybody have a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays.